Worldwide, 1.7 billion smartphones sell in 1 year.
What you're buying is so much more than what's in your hand. You're buying a lot of impacts. The model we have in our capitalist world is to sell you stuff, right?
E-waste, or electronic waste, is a huge global problem that's growing every year. But fixing it is going to take more than telling people they shouldn't upgrade their phones.
Manufacturers have convinced everybody the recycling is benign, don't worry, buy it, just recycle it, not a problem. And they're designing things for the dump, basically.
To stop toxic e-waste from piling up by the millions of tons, our devices need to be built to be more upgradable, more fixable, and more recyclable. The question is, can we redesign our devices to have the best in tech and the best for our planet? Smartphones, computers, monitors, everything Internet of Things. Once they're thrown out, they become e-waste. And the world is generating e-waste at an alarming clip.
I could give you numbers, but they're so astronomical they won't mean much. More than 50 million metric tons every year is produced, and that's growing.
Well, most of us stop thinking about our smartphones around the time the battery gives out. Jim Puckett, founder of the Basel Action Network, is most concerned with everything that happens to them afterward.
You can imagine people get rid of their computers every 3 years, maybe. They get rid of their phones about every 2 years. Just multiply that by every human on Earth. It's a mountain, a very large mountain of e-waste.
Gotta learn to reduce, reuse, recycle.
Reduce, reuse, recycle is a nice term of art, but the reduction side of it, which is the most important, is always forgotten. It all ends up recycling. Probably about half of your old electronics go to the global south. And it's justified by saying, well, we're going to give it another life. They can fix it in the market there, which sounds really good.
But a lot of the time, they can't fix it. Sometimes the components inside our devices wear out too quickly, or are stuck together with glue instead of screws to make them a hair thinner than the competition. Instead of finding a second life in the global south, our toxic e-waste might find its way to a landfill.
We knew that we had to track this waste to really tell the story about it. So we did a program where we went out to recyclers in the US and dropped computing equipment with a GPS tracker inserted into it.
What they found was pretty incredible. 40% of the e-waste that was supposed to be recycled in the US got shipped to junkyards overseas.
There's no pollution control, and most of these are in Southeast Asia in farmlands, so they're contaminating a lot of the local food supply.
Ban went public with their GPS data.
Blew people's minds because they were like caught. And of course it's made the industry really behave a lot better. Now we have a program called eStewards, which is a certification program for the good guys.
The process still isn't perfect, but the eStewards recyclers employ a number of strict practices to make recycling safer and more environmentally friendly. Cascade Asset Management is one of those eStewards recyclers.
We process about 300,000 to 400,000 pounds of electronics per month, so we're moving a lot of equipment through here.
Cascade is able to fix and resell 30% of its inventory before recycling even comes into play. But the pace of change in today's technology can be hard to keep up with.
We're starting to see a lot more smartphones and tablets coming through. Some items may be only 2 or 3 years old and there's no life left in them.
When I grew up, you'd buy a toaster or a refrigerator, it would last at least 20 years. But the manufacturers don't design equipment to last a long time, so in effect, they're planning its obsolescence. Sure, electronics changes quickly, but they can anticipate upgrades. Do we really need to have things die so quickly?
You've probably been told before that you should buy less stuff, that you should consume more consciously. But in order to empower consumers to make that choice, manufacturers need to design things to last longer. Right now, that's a tough sell to most of the big companies making our electronics. But some startups are taking notice.
I have been in the electronics industry for the last 11 years, and I realized there's hardly any repair. Let's say if I were to buy a new device, the charging port stops working, which is almost like a moral dilemma. Do I get this repaired? Or do I buy a new device?
Sharad Mittal, founder of the smartphone company TerraCube, saw a third option. Make a phone that's actually built to last a long time and easy to repair. The result is a device that's much more environmentally friendly.
TerraCube 2e, it works like any other smartphone. It's an Android smartphone, runs all the apps that are available from Google Play Store. We have put in recycled plastics into the body of the phone. The unique feature is the 4-year premium care warranty. There's no glue used, so anyone can take them apart, and we'll make the spare parts available so people can do their own repairs as well.
Modular components and durable materials are just a couple ways manufacturers can help consumers stay current without throwing their entire device away. Organizations like iFixit are also encouraging more companies to make technical guides and spare phone parts available to every user in order to encourage people to repair their own devices.
You know, we think we live in a democracy, but what we're able to buy, that changes our world more than politics, believe it or not. Everything's becoming electronic these days. Can't we make things last longer and still have innovation?
Us building the TerraCube, we're showing that it's possible. We are here to make a change.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, share it with some friends, and check out freethink.com for more stories of people moving the world.